What up, everybody? Ryan the Mighty Quinn here, doing another fight look on the Cornerman MMA. UFC 280 last night. Good fight card. A lot of underdogs won. The main event, Grant Dawson got caught early. That I didn't see that happening. I don't think anybody saw that happening. Bobby Green's dangerous, as we knew. But the one we're focusing on right now is the decision with Kanako. I know I was going to pronounce her name. Kanako Murata and Vanessa Demopoulos. Now, I saw online a lot of people thought that was controversial. I thought the judges got it right. I thought that she was. I want to get rid of this crap. I hate that. It just pops up out of nowhere. I thought that she was active off her back. I thought that she convincingly won the first two rounds. Now, it's a great fight to break down for many reasons. First, I could see why a lot of people might have thought that Murata won, but we got to keep in mind what events took place and when. That's the important. When did stuff happen? Okay, we got to keep that in mind. Now, control time, which would fall under the duration aspect of the judges' scoring, was there for Murata. However, there was more before that, before we had to go to the control time. So what do I mean by that? This is a great case of how a fighter can win a fight off their back. And I'm glad that that's still prevalent. I'm glad that that still happens, because we're keeping all aspects of martial arts within the scoring and within the fight. So the stand-up game was kind of a toss-up all night, but really a lot of the activity took place on the ground. And what activity took place on the ground? First, in the first round, 2 takedowns happened. And this is also good to talk about, scoring with takedowns. 2 takedowns happened for Murata. And what happened after? Now, keep in mind that the takedown is not really scored. It's kind of the precursor to what scoring is going to take place. Think of it like, I know when I got my license, I know a lot of states do this. Granted, how long ago did I get my license? But you had to take, it was a prerequisite to take your driver's education course before you got your license. So you take that driver's education course, and then what's next? I don't have my license yet. That just preempts me to get my state licensure for my driver's license. What do I mean by that? Think of it as a takedown, as that's the precursor to scoring. What happens after the takedown? What happens after the driver's course? What happens after the takedown? And I think that's where Vanessa did her scoring. I think she was active off her back, looking for submissions, but the striking, what happened with the striking? Yes, there was some damage dealt with. There was one cut. We were going to score that in one event, but also she was controlling and causing Murata to adjust within her activity. She liked that rubber guard, I guess it was. I forget the name of that as well. That's like the Eddie Bravo stuff the announcers were talking about. And she was putting Murata in position to land those strikes. Now, granted, those were baby strikes, sort of, what Murata was doing to the body. However, in the tiebreaker scenario, what Murata's baby strikes, they weren't adding to anything. They weren't setting anything up. They weren't doing any damage. They weren't causing any bodily harm to Vanessa. However, in Vanessa's case, she would control Murata, and it would cause Murata to adjust her positioning. Think of it as like, just to magnify it more, think of it as a fighter getting jabbed repeatedly on their feet and absorbing those jabs and running out of the way. That's a winning situation for the fighter throwing the jabs. That's basically what you were seeing on bottom with Vanessa. So she was controlling, she was looking for submissions, she was landing those baby strikes, and she was forcing Murata to go back to just controlling the hips. That's where the control time, I think people were thinking, was the scoring method. But it wasn't. Vanessa did a very good job of staying active off her back and causing Murata to be reactive. Which fighter was being proactive and which fighter was being reactive? And that was Vanessa the whole time on the bottom. There was a couple of body kicks left that were pretty nice with Murata. However, with the amount of time on the ground, the judges are going to score this as a ground grappling-ish round. Just keep that in mind. So for that reason alone, I felt that Vanessa won the first 2 rounds. Pretty solid. Obviously, the damage with the cut in one situation, just causing Murata to react, causing Murata to defend, to adjust. You could be defensive inside the guard. That's what we saw last night. I had issue with that early on in my career, where I would take down, just control. I think the scoring has evolved since then, where they don't give wrestling so much credit. They want to see something after, whether it's ground and pound or submission attempts. And we saw that. We saw the submission attempts off the back, and as well as some, I don't like calling it ground and pound off the back, but that's kind of what it was with Vanessa. Now, I understand where people are coming from. Like, why do you think Kanako Murata won the fight? First of all, she had a pretty solid third round, so that was what's lasting on the minds of the audience. And even though I'm not really even sure she won the third round, but she had a really solid third round, so that's going to put the stamp on it for people watching the fight. And she was on top. Like, reverting back what I said, she was on top a lot. But it's what you're doing after you get there. And a lot of these judges want to see, what have you done for me lately type deal. And I think that's what I was thinking. It was a close fight. I can understand where people were coming from. However, I think the judges got this one right. And I applaud the judges on this. There's nothing to go crazy over here. I think that Vanessa did a great job staying active off her back. And Murata could open up. She was going down with those Hulk smash, those gorilla punches. Similar to what one of the announcers said, elbows and straight punches, just turning that hand through, probably would have been more effective. At the very least, it would have extended Vanessa, and it would have given her an opportunity to get the half guard. That's another thing, is when she was inside the guard, there wasn't any clean passes. There was no clean grappling for Murata to be scored with. I think she didn't even get to half guard once, from what I remember. But even if it was just once, there was still more going on with the striking from the back and the submission attempts with Vanessa. So it was a great fight to break down for us fight nerds. I'm really happy that I'm able to do that one this morning. And that's what I got. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. See you later.